It was a regular night, nothing out of the ordinary. I was driving home alone. The desolate stretch of road illuminated only by the dim glow of streetlights. That's when I noticed the flashing blue and red lights in my rear view mirror. I pulled over, assuming it was a routine traffic stop. The officer approached, wearing a police uniform that seemed legitimate at first glance. He asked the usual questions: license and registration. But as I handed over my documents, a feeling of unease settled in. His gaze was intense, and something about the situation felt off. He claimed I matched the description of a suspect and needed to step out of the car for further questioning. My instincts screamed danger, but the badge and uniform persuaded me to comply. As I stepped out, the isolation of the dark road weighed on me like a heavy shroud. He led me to the back of his unmarked car, a vehicle that looked nothing like a typical police cruiser. The air became thick with tension as he started asking peculiar, invasive questions. Panic set in when he asked me to get into the back seat of his car, claiming he needed to verify some details. That's when I noticed something was terribly wrong. The interior of the car lacked the usual police equipment, and there was no radio chatter or dispatch calls. It hit me. I was alone with a stranger, impersonating a cop in the dead of night. With adrenaline pumping, I fabricated an excuse to return to my car. As I made a quick escape, he became agitated, demanding I stay. I sped away, watching his unmarked car disappear in my rear view mirror. I reported the incident to the real police, but the imposter was never caught. The thought of what could have happened on that desolate road still sends shivers down my spine. It's a chilling reminder that even in the supposed safety of a routine traffic stop, darkness can lurk beneath the surface. My phone buzzed, jolting me awake. 3:14 a.m. It glowed accusingly. Not ideal for someone supposed to be on a camping trip miles from civilization. Then the headlights, blinding blue and red, piercing the inky blackness of the forest. Panic gnawed at my gut. Who in their right mind would be out here at this hour? Stepping out of my tent, I squinted through the downpour. A lone police car, its siren silent, sat parked a few feet away. Relief washed over me like a warm wave. Must be lost, I thought, offering a friendly smile as a figure emerged from the driver's seat. He wasn't your typical cop, towering, clad in all-fitting uniform, his face obscured by the shadows of his hat. A crooked smile played on his lips, sending shivers down my spine. Lost, miss? His voice was a gravely rasp, like rocks scraping against my bone. Just enjoying the peace and quiet, I stammered. Noticing the car, it was different. Older, the paint scratched and faded. The siren light cracked and dusty. Unease coiled in my stomach. Peaceful, sure, he chuckled. A sound devoid of humor, but dangerous out here alone. Predators, you know. He took a step closer, and the moonlight glinted of something metallic in his hand. Panic froze in my place. It wasn't a badge. It was something sharp, jagged, glinting malevolently. Don't worry, miss, he purred, his voice a chilling caress. I'm here to help you find your way to somewhere much safer. Terror ripped through me like a whirlwind. This wasn't a cop. This was something else. Something ancient and hungry lurking in the guise of authority. I bolted, adrenaline surging through my veins. He was faster. His laugh, a chorus of tortured souls, echoed through the rain as his claws snatched at my ankle. I stumbled, fell, the metallic tang of blood filling my mouth. But fear, raw and primal, spurred me on. I scrambled into the dense undergrowth, the creature's guttural roars cutting through the storm. Hours bled into what felt like years. Every rustle of leaves, every snap of a twig, sending fresh tremors through me. Just as dawn painted the sky a bruised purple, I stumbled out of the forest, lungs burning, soaked to the bone, and forever marked by the chilling truth. That wasn't a cop. It was a nightmare wearing a badge, and the forest holds secrets darker than the night itself. Now, every flicker of blue and red light sends shivers down my spine. The memory of that night, the metallic taste of blood, the echo of laughter from the depths of hell, haunts me like a phantom limb. So, when you hear sirens in the dead of night, especially in the heart of the wilderness, remember my story. Don't let the darkness fool you. Don't let it help you find your way. Because sometimes, the safest path is the one that leads you far away from the flashing lights and the chilling laughter of nightmares in blue. It was a dark and rainy evening, the kind that casts an eerie glow on wet asphalt. I was driving alone, my headlights cutting through the misty darkness, when I saw the unmistakable flash of red and blue lights in my rear view mirror. I pulled over, assuming it was a routine traffic stop. The officer approached, adorned in what looked like a legitimate police uniform. He flashed a badge, but something about the situation felt off. His eyes, cold and unwavering, seemed to pierce through the dimly lit car interior. He claimed there had been a series of break-ins in the area, and I matched the description of a suspect. Anxiety coiled in my chest as he instructed me to step out of the car for further questioning. I complied, my mind racing with unease. We stood on the side of the desolate road, raindrops drumming a haunting rhythm on the pavement. His questions became increasingly intrusive, and the isolation of the night amplified the sense of danger. He asked me to sit in the back of his unmarked car, citing the need to verify my identity. A sinking feeling gripped me when I noticed the absence of typical police equipment inside the vehicle. No radio crackling with dispatch calls, no computer terminal, just an unsettling emptiness. Panic surged as he insisted I get in the back seat, claiming it was protocol. Every instinct screamed that something was horribly wrong. Summoning a burst of courage, I feigned compliance while concocting a desperate escape plan. As I got into the back seat, I seized the opportunity to unlock the door, and with a surge of adrenaline, sprinted back to my own car. His demeanor shifted from authoritative to enraged, and he demanded I return immediately. I sped away, watching his unmarked car fade into the rainy night. Shaken, I reported the incident to the local police, but the imposter was never apprehended. To this day, the memory of that night lingers. A chilling reminder that the thin blue line meant to protect can sometimes blur into something far more sinister, lurking in the shadows of a rainy night.